Damn, it's really been so long, hasn't it? Hello everyone, TJOC57 here, and I must apologize for the lack of content recently. I've been really busy these past few months, from the whole quarantine thing, to schoolwork, to Redux Quest, to the cancellation of 2 projects, one of which I had prepared a whole script for. But anyways, it's about damn time I've made some more content for you all to watch. I mean, let's be real, this channel isn't well known to have a decent upload schedule anyways. Also, YouTube says that most of you watching my videos aren't subscribed, so if you do watch them, first off, thank you, and secondly, make sure to subscribe since it's free and it helps me out a lot. Yeah, I know, every YouTuber now does this, but I guess I could join another bandwagon as well. Anyways, you all read the title, so let's get right into it. Getting all the S ranks in Dark Deception has been, and is to this day, an incredibly skill-demanding task. There had been, however, ways to make the levels easier for those who were struggling. The earliest one, to my knowledge, was an exploit of the game's triggers. It went like this. When you enter the zone, there is an invisible trigger that, well, triggers the music and the monsters to become active. By using the teleport to go past these triggers, the monsters wouldn't spawn, and you would be able to collect all the stars freely. You had to activate the triggers at some point to not glitch the game, but this was still a way easier way to get an S rank in all the levels. However, that and an exploit in the manor area of Deadly Decadence had been patched, and it seemed like there was no way to cheat the system again. Sure, with Chapter 3's launch, players found a way to exploit the game's saving methods by using the difficulty modes to their advantage, but even that method required skill. Sure, it was easier, but it wasn't enough. However, everything changed one fateful day. That day was July 30th, 2019. I was just hanging out in a Discord server, talking with my fellow Fandom Games team, and one of them, Smile, you might know him from his Dark Deception videos, told me about a glitch called God Mode. After a bit of talking, there it was. Video proof of this glitch's existence. I was shocked. Such a glitch seemed too good to be true, yet it was true. There was, however, one problem. Nobody in the server knew how to recreate it. And so, desperate for answers and with no other choice, I booked a ticket and didn't fly to Japan because it was a horrible reference. Why did I put this in the script? Back on topic. Without any other option, I opened Dark Deception on my old crappy laptop, which I don't own anymore, and looked to find the cause of this glitch. After a bunch of testing, I finally found it. I was excited. I was able to recreate a glitch that no one knew how to even perform. And so, after a few days, the glitch became well known in the Dark Deception community. However, there's one problem with this story. The video proof. You see, while I was one of the first people to recreate it, I wasn't the first. It turns out, another person had discovered the glitch before me, or anyone in that server for that matter. And that person is a Russian YouTuber by the name of Wolf Amlas. The date was July 9th, 2019. Wolf Amlas, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name, was playing Deadly Decadence until he had encountered the God Mode glitch. However, that time, it had randomly occurred. It wasn't until July 22nd when he managed to reproduce the glitch, this time using the teleport power. And so, in nearly 10 days, the Dark Deception community was greeted with a new way to break the game. However, not all things last forever. On August 21st, Glowstick released a new update for the game, and alongside it, the God Mode glitch got patched. Well, that was a waste of 3 pages. So, now that we talked about the history of the God Mode glitch, you'd assume that we'd be done here. Well, you'd be wrong. After the glitch finally got patched, it made me wonder how and why did it occur in the first place? I mean, let's be honest, at least some of you here may have had the same thought at some point. Please, tell me I'm not the only one. Anyways, you might be wondering, what was the cause of this glitch? Well, to answer that, we need to talk about parallel universes. I'm sorry, I just had to make that joke. The real answer is, well, why don't I explain it? Let's get a bit technical. First off, the player and the camera are 2 separate objects. This has nothing to do with the glitch, but I thought it was some cool trivia. Anyways, the teleportation power has various states. There's the 0 state, or the inactive state, where the power is inactive. Then there's the first state, the active state, where the player pressed either Q or E and have the teleport activated. Then there's the second state, the teleportation state, where the player gets teleported to the selected area, when it works of course. And finally, we have the third state, the recharging state, where after the power is used, it has a cooldown and gets recharged. Now, here's where my theory goes into play. You see, the player can teleport through monsters. When that's done, the hitbox of many monsters and objects gets disabled, either to help with the teleportation or as a failsafe. Here's where things get interesting. The game checks the teleportation states for when the hitboxes are active or not. When the teleporting state has been initiated, that's a flag for the game to deactivate the hitboxes. However, the game doesn't have a clear way to know when the teleportation animation is finished, so it does something different. It checks to see if the teleport power has reached its recharging state, since that's what comes after teleporting. However, there's one more option with the teleport power, cancelling it. That action makes the power go from the activated state to the deactivated state. And that's how the glitch works basically. By initiating the teleporting state, which deactivates the hitboxes, and then immediately cancelling the teleport, which brings it back to its deactivated state, the power never went to its recharging state. So the game didn't receive the flag to activate the hitboxes. That's also why you teleport in place. By cancelling the teleport while it's in its teleporting state, the game doesn't have somewhere to teleport you, so the animation plays as normal, but you don't teleport anywhere. That's basically what's going on in my opinion. If Glowstick was to bring the teleport cancel option back, then maybe they could prevent this glitch by having the hitboxes become active every time the teleport goes back to a deactivated state. But that's just a theory. Again! Now, this would be the end of the video, but there's one more thing that happened recently. You see, while I was writing the script, I found a video on Twitter. There was a new way to do the God Mode glitch. You have to activate the teleport power, get killed by an enemy, and teleport with precise timing before the screen turns black. This is exactly what happens with the old God Mode glitch. The teleport gets cancelled while it's in its teleporting state, so it doesn't activate the hitboxes. Alright, that's enough technical stuff, let's finish this. So yeah, that was the history of the infamous God Mode glitch. It came and went, just like any bug in the game should. And while I know a lot of people will miss it, I myself am kinda happy that it's gone, despite what the tone of this video might suggest. It made an incredibly skill-demanding task a mere joke, and it just made it difficult to differentiate the good from the bad players who managed to get this legendary ranking. Sure, it's still technically in the game, but the timing is so precise that it's just not worth it anymore. Now, before I get into the outro stuff, I want to say something. So, while I was going through the script again, something hit me. I went through my DMs with Wolf Amlas, who really helped me out with researching for this video. I noticed how he said that the God Mode glitch had randomly occurred in Daily Decadence, back in that June 9th video. Well, now that we know the new version of the God Mode glitch, it makes you wonder, what if that's what he had experienced back then, before the more well-known version of the glitch was discovered nearly 2 weeks later? That's exactly what I think happened. And it's just so interesting to see how in just 1 year, this whole thing went full circle, without us even knowing. And that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff you've heard a million times from everyone on this platform. I also have a Twitter, so if you're interested in random stuff and also news in terms of videos and other projects I'm working on, make sure to give me a follow. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one. So, now that we talked about the history of the God Mode glitch, you'd assume that we'd be done here. Well, you'd be wrong. After the glitch finally got patched,